Gather round and listen, but what I am about to tell you is not an ordinary tale. It is a story that begins inside a golden palace, but travels into the dusty parts of the villages. It is a story of a man who wore a crown but chose to hide it, just because he wanted something more precious than riches. He wanted true love. The story is about Prince Arinze, the only son of King Obieze of AKA Kingdom. Prince Arinze had everything money could buy. His clothes were woven with the best silk, his shoes shone brighter than the morning sun, and his food was served on golden plates. Yet, inside him, he was lonely. Every day, the palace dancers entertained him, the musicians played drums for him, and the maidens bowed before him, but none of it filled the emptiness of his heart. You see, his father, the king, wanted him to marry quickly. Suitors came from far and wide, daughters of chiefs, daughters of kings, even daughters of rich merchants. They all came with painted faces and heavy jewelries, smiling at him with sweet voices, but Arinze saw through them. Their eyes did not see him. They saw only the crown on his head. They wanted the throne, not his heart. One night, as he sat in his chamber, staring at the moon through his wide window, Arinze whispered to himself, "If only I could find a woman who would love me for me, not for the crown I carry. How do I know true love when all eyes see only a prince?" He tossed and turned on his head, restless until dawn, and by morning he had made decision that would change his life forever. Arinze decided to hide his identity. He chose to leave the palace, not as a prince, but as a common man. He would go into the village, live among the people, and see if he could find a woman who would love him without knowing he was the heir to the throne. He told no one, not even his closest guards, for he feared they might betray his plan. Only his old tutor, Nze Ikenna, knew of it. The wise man looked at him with worried eyes and said, "My prince, you walked a dangerous path. The world outside the palace is harsh. People may treat you with cruelty. Are you ready for this pain?" Arinze smiled gently. "Pain is better than a loveless marriage. I must do this. Nze Ikenna, only then will I know the truth." And so, one mighty morning, Arinze dressed in a simple clothes, no fine robes, no golden slippers, just a brown silk purse and a brown wrapper tied around his waist, a faded shirt, and a straw hat to cover his head. He carried a small bag with only a little food and some coins. To the world, he looked like a poor traveler, nothing more. As he walked away from the palace gates, the guards did not recognize him. Birds chirped above the trees, and the smell of fresh dew filled the air. For the first time in his life, Arinze felt free, yet he was afraid. He was stepping into a world where nobody would bow to him. Nobody could call him Your Highness. The first village he entered was Umuohia. The people there were busy in their farms, digging and planting yams. He greeted them politely, but some looked at him with suspicion. His hands were soft, not like the hands of a true farmer. One woman laughed at him, saying, "Young man, your legs are too smooth for this kind of work. Are you sure you are not running from something?" Arinze only smiled and kept walking. He could not tell her the truth. After hours of walking, he grew tired and hungry. He stopped at a small hut where a young woman was pounding fufu. Her face was bright, her waist strong, and her laughter filled the air. Arinze greeted her and asked if he could buy some food. The girl looked at him from head to toe, her eyes sharp like a knife. "Buy food?" she asked. "What money do you have?" Arinze brought out a small coin from his bag. This girl's eyes widened. She quickly smiled and said, "Come, sit." Eat as much as you want." She gave him fufu and soup, and as he ate, she began to talk sweetly to him. She told him her name was Amara. She asked about his life, where he came from, and what he did for a living. Arinze kept his story simple. "I am just a poor farmer," he said. "I travel from place to place, looking for where I can work." Amara leaned closer, her eyes shining. "A poor farmer? Yet to carry coins in your bag. You must have more money hidden somewhere." She laughed lightly, touching his arms. "If you stay with me, I will take care of you." Arinze watched her carefully. Her words were sweet, but her eyes were hungry, not for love, but for wealth. He tested her further. He told her, "I have nothing. This small coin is all I have left." The smile on Amara's face faded. She pulled back her hand quickly and frowned. "Only that? Then why should I waste my time with you if you cannot give me fine clothes and meat every day? What are you to me?" Arinze felt a sharp pain in his chest, but he kept his face calm. He thanked her for the food and stood up to leave. Amara did not even bother to stop him. She turned her back and continued pounding fufu. As Arinze walked away, his heart grew heavy. This was his first test, and already it showed him the truth. People could smile and laugh, but inside, their hearts could be selfish. That night, he slept under a tree, thinking deeply. If love is this hard to find, he whispered to himself, then maybe I will never find it. But the prince did not give up. The next day, he continued his journey, moving from one village to another. Sometimes, he worked in people's farm just to get a little food. Many laughed at him, calling him weak. Some insulted him, saying he was a wanderer, no future. Yet Arinze held on. Each pain he felt made him stronger. One afternoon, as he walked along a narrow path, he heard a soft voice singing. The voice was so sweet, like the sound of a flute carried by the wind. Curious, he followed the voice until he reached a small stream. There, he saw a young woman washing clothes by the water. Her face was fresh, her hair tied neatly, and her smile shone as she sang to herself. She looked simple, yet something about her touched Arinze's heart immediately. He stood watching for a while, then greeted her. She turned, a little startled. But then she smiled. "Good afternoon, traveler," she said kindly. "You look tired. Will you sit and rest a while?" Arinze nodded and sat on a stone near the stream. She offered him water to drink. Scooping it in a calabash, he drank, and it was the sweetest water he had ever tasted, not because of the stream, but because of the kindness with which it was given. Her name, she told him, was Adeze. She was the daughter of a poor farmer who struggled to make ends meet. Unlike Amara, Adeze did not ask him where his money was and what riches he had. Instead, she asked if he was safe and where he was going. Arinze felt warmth in his heart as he looked at her. Could this be the kind of woman he was searching for? Could this be the true love he risked everything to find? But my people, life is never that simple. Even as Arinze began to feel something for Adeze, shadows were already gathering around him. Another man was watching Adeze closely, a rich trader who believed she must be his wife at all costs. A worse still, whispers were beginning to spread through the land that a prince had gone missing from the palace. If anyone discovered who Arinze truly was, everything would have ruined. That night, as he lay awake under the moonlight, Arinze's heart was torn between fear and hope. Fear that his secret would be exposed, and hope that Adeze might be the love he had been searching for. But little did he know, his journey had only just begun. Let me take you deeper into this tale. The story of Prince Arinze was only beginning to take shape. He had left the palace. He had tested the heart of one maiden and found it empty. and now his eyes had fallen upon Adeze, the humble daughter of a poor farmer. From the moment he met her by the stream, something in his heart shifted. Her laughter was soft, her eyes carried no hunger of wealth, and her voice was gentle like a morning breeze. But Arinze was still afraid. What if she is like the others? He asked himself. What if kindness today is only a mask for greed tomorrow? So he decided to test her. The next morning, he walked to the farm where Adeze was working with her father. The sun was hot, the ground was hard, the sweat ran down their faces. Arinze greeted them and asked if he could help. Adeze's father, an old man with a bent back and rough hands, looked at him carefully. You want to help us? Do you know how to use a hoe? Arinze smiled. I may not be strong, but I will try. They gave him a hole and he began to dig. His hands, soft from palace life, soon blistered. His arms ached and his back cried out in pain, but Arinze kept going, his pride refusing to let him stop. Adeze saw his struggles and came to him. He gently took the hoe from his hands and said, Rest a little. You are not used to this kind of work. She smiled kindly, not mocking him as others had done. Then she brought him some roasted yam and palm oil to eat. Arinze sat under a tree, eating slowly, his eyes fixed on her. This girl is different. He whispered to himself. She does not laugh at my weakness. She does not ask me for gold. She simply cares. Days turned into weeks and Arinze kept visiting Adeze's family. He helped him in the farm as much as he could, carried firewood from the forest, and even fetched water from the stream. At night, they would sit together under the moonlight, telling stories and laughing like old friends. Arinze began to feel peace in his heart, something he had not felt inside the palace. But my people, good things rarely come without trouble. One evening, as Arinze and Adeze were returning from the stream, they met a man on the path. He was tall, with a broad chest and a proud face. His clothes were rich, and he wore expensive sandals. A goatskin bag hung from his shoulders, filled with cowries and coins. He looked at Arinze with contempt, then turned his eyes to Adeze. Adeze, the man called in a loud voice. Why are you walking with this wanderer? Do you not know you are meant to be my wife? Adeze frowned. Chike, how many times must I tell you? I am not your wife. I never agreed to marry you. The man, Chike, laughed proudly. You will agree, your father is poor. Your family struggles every day. But I, Chike, the trader, have riches beyond measures. I will give you fine clothes, gold jewelries, and a life of comfort. What can this partner give you? Nothing but empty promises. Arinze felt anger burning inside him, but he held his tongue. He could not reveal who he truly was. He wanted Adeze to make her choice freely. Adeze stood tall, her voice firm. Chike, I do not care for your riches. I do not love you. Leave me alone. Chike's eyes darkened. He stepped closer, pointing a finger at Arinze. And you, poor traveler, stay away from her. She is mine. If I see you with her again, you will regret it. With that, he walked away, his footsteps heavy with pride. Arinze turned to Adeze, worry in his eyes. Does this man trouble you often? Adeze sighed. Yes, he has been disturbing me for months. My father likes him because of his wealth, but I do not love him. My heart cannot be bought. Those words filled Arinze's chest with warmth. Yet, he also knew that Chike was dangerous. A man like him, proud and greedy, will not give up easily. The following days proved his fear true. Chike began to spread rumors about Arinze. He told the villagers that the stranger was a thief who had run away from his land. Some began to believe him, for they could not understand why a poor man like Arinze would wander so much. Others mocked Arinze openly, saying he was wasting his time chasing a woman who belonged to a rich man. One afternoon, Chike confronted Arinze in the market. People gathered around as he shouted, "This man is a fraud. He hides his true life, pretending to be what he is not. Arinze deserved better than this beggar." Arinze's fist clenched. For a moment, he wanted to throw a punch, but he swallowed his anger. He remembered why he left his palace: to find love without violence, without power. He walked away silently. But silence, my people, can sometimes be more powerful than words. Arinze saw his restraint, and it made her respect him even more. That night, she told him softly, "Do not worry about Chike. I see who you are inside. You are not like him. You are kind, humble, and true. That is what matters to me." Arinze smiled, but inside his heart was a storm. For though Arinze believed in him, the whispers in the village were growing louder, and if everyone or anyone from the palace came searching for the missing prince, they might connect the dots. His disguise were becoming fragile, like a cloth worn thin. Then one night, as the moon hid behind dark clouds, Arinze heard footsteps near the hut where he slept. He rose quickly, his senses sharp. A shadow moved outside. He stepped out, and there, standing in the darkness, was a man he knew well, Okoro, one of the palace guard. Arinze's blood ran cold. "My prince," Okoro whispered, bowing slightly. "So it is true, you left the palace in disguise." Arinze's heart pounded. "Okoro, how did you find me?" Okoro smiled. "The palace had been restless since you disappeared. The king sent guards everywhere. I followed your trail, but do not worry, I have not told anyone yet. The question is, how much is your secret worth to you?" Arinze's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" Okoro stepped closer, his voice low and greedy. "If I tell the king where you are, he will drag you back and force you into marriage with one of those princesses. But if you pay me well, I will keep your secret. I will let you continue your little game here in the village. So tell me, my prince, what will you give me for my silence?" Arinze felt rage boiled in his chest. This was betrayal. A guard meant to protect him was now blackmailing him, but he was helpless. If Okoro exposed him, everything would be lost: his search for true love, his freedom, his chance with Adeze. That night, Arinze could not sleep. He stared at the stars, his heart heavy with fear. He had found a girl who might truly love him. Yet, danger pressed in from every side. Chike wanted Adeze. The villagers doubted him, and now Okoro threatened to destroy everything. Would his disguise survive? Or would his secrets burst open by a calabash dropped on the ground? My people, this was the beginning of a storm, and the wind were already rising.